What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mooncast. We're your hosts, Riley,
Macie, Katie,
and we're here to give you the raw and real talk about cannabis, lifestyle, mindfulness, and everything in between. So grab a moon doobie, spark up with us, find a cozy spot, and tune in for this month's episode. Okay, first, we want to start by saying that for legality purposes, none of this is true.
None of these stories actually happened, and
None of this is advice.
And this is all just hearsay.
Yeah. Okay, let's move into it. Our topic today is traveling with cannabis.
The best thing in the whole wide land.
Yes, partaking in cannabis in your favorite worldly destinations, doing
your favorite worldly things.
Yes.
Nothing better than exploring, nothing better than smoking weed. So when you put them together, it's a match made in heaven.
It is a match made in heaven. And we get questions all the time here like, hey, how can we take your gummies on a plane and take it on vacation with us? And we never really know how to directly answer these things because, again, none of this is advice.
Right, like I don't want to tell somebody they can do something, then they get like tackled by a TSA agent.
Yeah, like you're always going to risk something.
Fine. At the end, you know, that's something that we all need to just grow to understand is unless you're moving an absolute massive amount of product, they're just they're making sure you don't have any pipe bombs.
Yeah, yeah, they're just making sure you're not coming on the plane with a pipe bomb.
They are not going to care. What cracks me up are when people are like, I have a sample pack of CBD gummies. Yeah. You think, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, you can most definitely take your CBD gummies on all domestic travel. If you are going anywhere in the United States, Puerto Rico, your U.S. Virgin Islands, Alaska, Hawaii, you can take fine. CBD.
And honestly, we tell people all the time, because, yeah, you're going to want to travel with THC if you're trying to accomplish what we're accomplishing. But I tell people just to be safe, and I really don't think you need to go the extra mile to do this, but I recommend, and this is what I normally do, is just getting a pack of gummies from Walmart, from Sheetz, cutting them open and pouring our gummies into those gummies.
Yeah,
just to save yourself the question.
Yeah, or just put our gummies in a Ziploc bag where they're just not labeled. Yeah. You know, they're not going to to test a gummy would take a day.
And they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's not like they make crack gummies. Like, it's just going to be weed.
Yeah, it's just going to be weed. And all of our products are technically federally legal. So, like, even if they did find it, in your bag or whatever, you're still going to be cooling after they test it. It's just going to be like, okay, we're going to have to deal with this at the airport. So you always run the risk, but you're not going to get in heaps of trouble, at least with our products.
In our vapes, perfect thing to just throw in your makeup bag.
Yeah, but don't put our vapes in your checked bag because they are a battery, and batteries do get flagged. So if you're ever trying to take if you're ever trying to take like a cartridge from a dispensary, cool. Put your cartridge in your makeup bag or your carry-on, and then put your cartridge. Hold on.
This is why we're not claiming any advice.
This is why this is not advice.
You put the battery itself in your makeup bag, and you put the cartridge itself in your check bag. But if you are not checking a bag, which me and Riley are notorious for,
just carrying backpacks. We can go
somewhere for 2 months and won't even check a bag.
Yeah.
But yeah, traveling with it, nobody gives a shit unless you're like
you're moving pounds and you're going to sell it. Like if you're just bringing like your small personal stash
Pablo Escobar through the thing.
Yeah, you just got to be careful, and if you're nervous about it, I just say don't do it and find it when you're there. It's pretty easy to find some weed, mostly in the islands, so you just gotta look around.
Exactly, but also not condoning that, because
yeah, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, you really gotta give people. You gotta feel out the whole situation. Oh my God, when Riley and I went, who is kind of skipping forward, but it's relevant. Riley and I went to Greece, And we were in Greece for almost 2 months when we were, I was 18, Riley was 20, and didn't bring any weed. We were like, oh yeah,
we can get
we'll
weed
find
in
some
Greece.
party place. Riley and I literally bent over backwards trying to figure out how to get weed while we were there, and ended up, we got so frustrated, we just went to this restaurant and we sat down. We were bummed, and the waiter that came to our table looked like Willie Nelson.
And we were like, this is our guy.
We were like, all right, God has sent this opportunity to us. And we were like, hey, you look like you know where we could get some marijuana. And this broken English guy says, wait here.
But he says it like really quiet.
Yeah, like looks around his shoulder a couple times. I was like, he's about to give us heroin. And then like 40 minutes passed. We thought he'd forgot about us. And he gives us this map. Like, I'm not talking Google Earth. It's like a hand-drawn map that goes to this
Shows
little
an
alleyway,
alley.
like this dark alleyway that we approach. And I was like, great, sex trade, we're done. And this guy comes up.
We still went.
We had each other. Buddy system. But we went, and this guy walks up to us, and
it was like a quick motion too,
it was
like
fast.
you see on the movies.
It was so fast. He like takes our money, gives us this like Walmart bag looking thing that's tied off at the end, and just takes off in a dead sprint the other way. We were like, oh my God. And so we're like, okay, now we have the weed finally. How to consume it? Because they didn't have like pop cans down there. Remember that? It was all
like plastic juice boxes.
Wasn't finding any nearby apples, so we found a plastic juice box.
Also, let me repeat, this is not advice.
Yeah, don't do this. It was so stupid of us, but we end up smoking it, making this little makeshift bowl out of this plastic thing, and I'm pretty sure that the plastic that we inhaled got us higher
than the actual weed,
because we were spun the first night. That was also after like weeks of not having weed. And then
it's like a true tea break, and then we just smoked out of this plastic bottle.
It was electric.
Definitely inhaled like THC plus carcinogens. Not the healthiest consumption.
And then the next day we found, the cookies that are hollow. It's like a cylindrical hollow cookie wafer thingy.
Yeah, they have to know. The viewers have to know what we're talking about.
Anywho.
Pocky?
No.
Pockies?
No, not Pocky, but Pocky Hits.
Pocky, it's like a straw,
like
almost.
A straw,
like a wafer straw.
Anyway, we packed that shit like a blunt and smoked it out of the cookie, and then ate the res coated cookie, and that was awesome.
That was innovative.
But that's just a little insight on the kind of things you're going to be looking at if you decide to not take your own stuff. I'm sure we could have done a lot better, and being in a foreign country makes it a little harder too. I'm sure if you're just going to Florida,
Yeah, domestic travel, easy peasy.
No worries.
International travel, it's a little bit more tough to do.
And speaking of which, my other favorite international travel story. So Riley and I were trying to figure out, we were going to Iceland, and we were trying to figure out how to get a good amount of dabs to Iceland, because I
think like an eighth of dabs.
It was nothing crazy, but it wasn't something we could like easily. Yeah. So best idea ever. And it would be cool if we could flash this photo for the YouTube. I know, that's what I was
thinking, for the YouTube channel.
Maybe if you're on YouTube, we can get our podcast guys to flash this photo for you. But we got a palette, like a makeup palette that was full. It had 3 different, like blush.
Yeah,
what it was.
Blush, highlighter, bronzer.
Yeah, that's what it was. A trio. And we scraped out all of the makeup and washed it off. So it was like 3 empty little metal divots. And I melted an eighth worth of dabs into all 3 of the palette sections.
It was brilliant.
That was like the smartest idea I've ever had.
Yeah. It looked amazing,
and
too.
Then we were just able to use the nectar collector and hit it straight out. That's after we spent 3 days trying to find a torch, because they hate when you fly with torches.
Yeah, you can't fly with a torch.
TSA fucking hates that.
Yeah, but you can. If you're smart, you can fly with an eighth of dabs.
Yeah. But
yeah, and
you have to get innovative.
You do. That's what traveling with cannabis is all about, is innovation. It's about being smart. It's about taking risks.
Exactly. It's about taking that TSA risk. And the big risk, should I leave out the Chicago O'Hare thing?
No, you can include the Chicago O'Hare.
So we were in Chicago O'Hare Airport. Again, these are all lies.
Yeah, this is a complete lie.
I was dabbing in the bathroom of the Chicago O'Hare Airport, and I thought it was the funniest thing. So I took a selfie, and literally on the iPhone, like I look back at the selfie and the iPhone says like Terminal 3 Chicago O'Hare Airport. I'm like, the government's definitely looking at this shit right now.
We'll flash this up on the YouTube channel too, so you can see Macie's selfie.
Yeah, and I think I deleted that out of paranoia. But
if we have it.
If you listen to our past podcasts, you have also heard that I had a very negative experience being mega high for a flight. So I think that's the last time I ever did that.
Yeah, I personally don't recommend getting high before a flight. I recommend some CBD gummies. Like you can take like 100 milligrams and clock out for like 6 hours if you want to. But I would not recommend THC on an airplane. It gets scary.
Unless you have thick skin. Some people I've heard of people doing like
some crazy shit.
I could never do that. Mm-mm. My flight anxiety is way too high for that.
Yeah. Especially after that Spirit flight.
Yeah, that Spirit flight ruined me and Riley.
Forever.
We almost got in a full-blown
plane crash. We really did. Side note.
People were screaming.
Yeah. Side note, we were landing in Vegas, and the planes, we were in the process of landing, and the plane's wing dropped down all of a sudden and almost smashed into the concrete.
It was so bad that the pilot aborted the landing, and after we had touched down for like a millisecond, he took back off, so like flew right back up off the runway, and everybody thought that we were done. But
yeah, then circled back around, landed safely. Vegas, also fantastic place, easy peasy to get some weed.
Oh my god, they have the coolest dispensary in the world there.
It actually is the biggest dispensary in the world. Planet 31
or no, it's
I think or Planet 13.
Planet 13, yeah.
1331, something like that.
It was funny though, because at the time, Riley and I have been to Vegas a couple of different times, but the first time I was 19, and we hadn't really got our parents very hip on the fact that we were smoking yet. And so one night of our Vegas trip, also I love you, Mom and Dad, but going to Vegas with your parents is such like a cuck move. Like you just get to sit there and watch all the fun.
Yeah, especially when you're 19.
Yeah, but so there was a night that they were like, okay, we're going to go on a date. You guys just want to chill here, we can hang out. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. Literally, then the door no more latched when they left. And we were like, beep, 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 typing in the
nearest dispensary.
It was so cool that they had a free shuttle that picked you up and dropped you off. And the shuttle was like a party bus. Okay, so
it was awesome.
We get there. I'm 19, Riley's 21, so they take Riley in, and I have to sit in the waiting area of the coolest dispensary that I'd ever seen in my life, beyond my wildest dreams. And I sat there and ate a slice of pizza while I was like texting her everything that I wanted in there, hoping that she would pick it up. It was so cool. But if you're ever traveling to Vegas, don't even try to fly with your own shit, because they have the best.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it. It's like when it comes to traveling with cannabis, it's all risk reward. Like, is it worth it?
Right.
Is it worth like knowing that you have it? Because Vegas, you already know you can get it there, and you can get some of the best stuff ever.
People are probably flying to Vegas with a lot worse things than Delta 9 gummies.
Yeah. So just look into where you're going to. Be smart.
It was cool because after we got all of that stuff from the dispensary, the next day our parents took us to the Grand Canyon, and Riley is like the grandest of Grand Canyons because we were trying all of this different stuff that we got from the dispensary. It was so much fun.
It was beautiful.
It's actually the first time our mom smoked.
Yeah.
And she had it was like a cookie cutter, perfect first time smoking experience. Like, it couldn't have gone better. She laughed her ass off and played Candy Crush for like 2 hours.
Yeah, she had the perfect experience. Whereas our most recent trip to Florida, she did give me the okay to tell the story.
Oh, she did. Nice.
Our most recent trip to Florida, we went with a family of seasoned smokers, and then we had my mom who
takes a millisecond rip off of a dab pen. Yeah, she's literally spun. Like, she goes,
and that's it.
And she loves it.
And that's her thing, and that's her dose, and she should stick with that.
We told her that.
But our seasoned friends brought out,
it's like an electric dab rig that you could screw a cart into and push a button, and it would pull like this this super smooth hit of whatever your cart was. And my mom's like, oh, I love my cart, I'm comfortable with my cart, I'll try this. And I was like, Mom, I really don't think you should do that. She was like, oh, it's my cart, like talking to me like I'm patronizing her. But she took the rip of her cart that she's used to, except about 6 times the size.
Yeah, because the thing fills up with cart smoke. Yeah. It's not like a little, it's a whole ass, like ripping a cart bong.
And I knew the second that she hit it and sat down and all the color left her face. And she was mute for like an hour straight. Like, she could not be communicated with. And I was like, it was so hard for me. I felt bad for her. I did, but it was damn hard to feel bad for her because I told her over and over again. And Riley,
I felt so bad for her.
Riley was trying to make her feel more comfortable and walks over to the TV and types Nora Jones.
Yeah, like, just trying to find, like a Nora Jones. You can't go
soothing
wrong.
Music. And my mom thought that Riley typed Mothman is coming. And my mom had this like mental breakdown thinking that there was like a Mothman related thing happening.
And then in the midst of all that, all the pool guys and landscaping guys came, and they had like fucking chainsaws and stuff.
Like, working, like the maintenance crew had like these really loud leaf blowers and stuff. Mom thought she was in Vietnam, like some kind of war scene. She said she heard guns racking outside, like handguns racking. And then she threw up all over her all white Keds on the floor.
R.I.P. to those Keds.
You know it was bad because my dad was standing there with the trash can open, and Mom leaned over the trash can to throw up on her Keds.
But she recovered, just like we all do. We've all been there. We've all been there at some point, and she's a better woman today because of it.
And wrapping travel back into it, we were like, this will be okay. She can lay poolside. Like, the sun's shining. We have our own little private pool. Like, the breeze is blowing, and then all the landscaping people show up. It scared the shit out of her.
Yeah, but she recovered.
That's the truth.
Here she is today. I love weed in Florida.
Me too.
Doing a little like smoking, going shark tooth hunting.
Smoking on the beach is unmatched.
Feels so good.
If you guys have never done that, all of our listeners, make it happen.
Yeah, beach is like the ultimate space, I feel like.
Except sometimes you start thinking about sharks like harder than you normally do.
Yeah, that's if you're in the water. We did that snorkeling.
No, Riley and us get high and go snorkeling, and it's so fun until it's not. Until everything looks like a great white shark.
Yeah, and that's not great.
But the good outweighs the bad.
Yeah, I always think of like Chesapeake Bay, but that wasn't weed. That was shrooms. But we did some major shrooms on the Chesapeake Bay. And the sun was setting. We put it in, like a little fucking crab cake. That's Maryland.
I put mine with coconut shrimp.
Yeah, that's Maryland vibes for sure.
Yeah.
And we were sitting there, and the sun was setting, and then all of a sudden, like the water started looking like holographic and like a television screen.
It was like in Willy Wonka when that kid likes the video games, and it's like everything's like pixelated.
Yeah, and then it turned into like Barbie Swan Lake.
Yeah, it was Barbie Swan Lake vibe. Hardcore. Me and Riley were blown away.
Yeah, it was. I would do that.
I know.
For the rest of my life. Just hang out on that beach, live every day, Barbie Swan Lake vibes.
With a crab cake.
Yeah.
Don't forget that part.
But yeah, we've traveled to a lot of different places. My parents actually just went to Scotland, and my mom brought just a cart. The cart helped her get through the windy roads in Scotland.
She gets really car sick, so that was perfect for her.
Yeah.
They're like looking at the Highland cows.
Yes.
Yeah, they loved that.
It's really changed her life, which I'm excited about.
But I recommend if you're traveling, just do it. Just bring some weed, find some weed.
And get her done.
Open your eyes. Get her done. Do it to it.
Yeah, but also not advice.
Yeah, but also don't.
You take your own risks.
Especially flying.
Yeah.
Sometimes driving, you know what I mean? You gotta put that shit in your trunk.
Yeah, sometimes driving's even scarier because everything like smells up the car and everything.
Oh, you gotta dab in the car.
Yeah, dabs only. I mean, I would never suggest anyone to bring flour on a flight.
Yeah, I always tell people that. I'm like, there's ways to do it and people do it all the time, but
flour's not the way. Flour has a smell. Flour's very blatantly what it is, you know?
And they got dogs.
They have dogs, you
dogs know about
Whereas
it.
if you bring like a little cart or some gummies, like...
But I will also say, if they find an eighth of flour in your suitcase, they're just going to throw it away. They're not going to like put you in handcuffs. And
I did watch one episode of How to Catch a Smuggler, and there were these women that were coming back from the Dominican Republic, and they had one small nug in their bag, and she was like, I'm sorry, I thought we got rid of all of that. Like, it was obvious that it was just kind of like floating around in there. It wasn't like purposeful. And they fined her $500 for that little nug.
What?
Yeah. But they even said on video, they're like, weed is now, you know, like legal in so many states.
Yeah, that was
like,
probably.
We're not incredibly worried about this, but it is federally illegal and we have to follow that. So.
Damn, never mind.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the flour.
I feel like it all depends on how grumpy your TSA person is that day, too.
It's all about luck, so before you go in.
And being kind to the people that work at the airport, because they endure the worst of the worst.
Yeah, and don't be weird.
Don't be weird.
Just act like you're just going through, which you are.
Oh my God. There's been times that I've been flying with stuff and they'll pull me aside for like a random body search and I have like tears in my eyes. Like, I think that they're searching my shit because they know.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, ma'am, have a good day. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it turns out it's like your water bottle or like a makeup tube.
Anytime my dad, we try not to even tell him whenever we're bringing carts and stuff because he's airport dad times 100. Mm-hmm. But when he knows, dude, I can see him sweating extra. He's like, God damn, these girls.
I know.
And then they pull you aside for a search and he's like...
Yeah.
Bugging so hard.
Yeah. But there are places too that I wouldn't recommend. Like when I did Bali, I did not search for weed there. I did not bring weed there. You actually can spend 6 years in a federal Balinese Indonesian prison for just any sort of THC. So there are destinations that I would say are not worth the risk, and that is an example. But once I got to Bali, something that was readily available everywhere were shrooms. You couldn't get weed anywhere, but you could get mushrooms at all times. But
that's cool.
That's probably because
didn't you say that your snorkeling tour guides were like on LSD and
shit? Scuba, and they were
scuba.
They were like, we're honestly on LSD right now, and it's gonna make this experience for us really awesome. We just want you to know that you're
driving the boat.
Yeah, driving the boat, getting ready to like lead our snorkel tour in the middle of the ocean, and you're like, okay, I guess I'm in good hands. That happened to me whitewater rafting too.
Oh my God.
I know.
No
my
way.
whitewater rafting like guide looked at everybody. He's like, I'm on acid right now. And we were like, okay, we're about to die.
Everybody knows my fear of whitewater rafting. Mm-hmm. I think that if somebody abducted me and said, I'm going to do the worst thing possible to you right now, it would be dosing me with LSD and putting me in a whitewater raft.
That seems like hell. Like, I don't know why anybody would ever do that.
I would be the one that died.
And could you imagine like scubaing and actually seeing a shark on LSD? Like, why would anybody submit to that?
It would like morph into the megalodon shark for me.
And it would swim right at me.
Yeah. and I'd like punch it in the face, and then it ends up just being like a little parrotfish or something. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
I could see you punching a parrotfish in the face, Macie.
I keep my distance, you keep yours. That's how I am in the ocean.
I like getting up close and personal.
Yeah, if it's like a little...
I like the little eels.
I would choke out an eel.
Oh my god.
I would do like this. Gotta be the most easily choked out animals. The eel is all neck.
Dude, speaking of choking out,
easy now.
Last time we went to Swan Lake in Florida, which is, I don't know what fucking lake it is.
Swans are the second most chokeable animal.
Yeah, you look at a swan and you instantly want, I don't know why.
They naturally are squared up.
Yeah, you're like.
It's like a kangaroo.
Yeah, you instantly just want to like reach out and be like, fucking flinging around by its
like
neck.
this on the swan.
And it's like, I have no hate against swans and I would never do that.
But like, swans have hate with you.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to meet you. They just hate.
Yeah, they just hate. So I would not fuck with a swan.
I wouldn't either.
But do I want to feel what its neck feels like? I would love to feel what a swan neck feels like. Do I want to get my hands
around its neck?
Yes.
I do.
For
whatever. It's gotta be primal.
Primitive right there. Yeah. That's primal. Yeah, Swan Lake in Orlando, Florida. I don't know exactly what it's called. Alex just took me there, but
just a lake with swans.
Yeah, it's a lake with like a shit ton of swans on it. Highly recommend smoking and going there because you're like,
oh my god,
I'm a swan god.
I'd show up there like Chuck Norris on them. I got 4 swans in each hand. Just kidding. Swans are docile.
Yeah, for the most part.
Anywho.
Also very touchable. Won't let you touch them. But yeah, it's kind of our best advice today about traveling with cannabis. I don't know how we got off on the swan increment, but it's always a great experience. And again, this is not advice and none of this was true. Bonus story. We forgot to tell this story and now we're back.
We're back.
One time we were in Florida.
I homeschooled my senior year of high school, and Riley felt bad for me that I didn't get my senior trip. So she took me on a senior trip. It was just her and I to the beach. And we met up with all of these guys that we thought were really cool. We were vibing with them.
Went to a house party.
It was a great time.
It was but unsafe decision. Just me and Macie and guys.
Yeah, disclaimer. Did we learn our lesson though?
Yeah, they learned their lesson.
So we were at their house party, right? And I'm 18 and I'm like just getting into smoking. I'm smoking weed on the back. This is bad. I'm smoking weed on the back porch of this house party. And this guy comes out, the guy that I've been really hitting
very drunk.
Yeah, he was drunk. That's no excuse. I was really hitting it off with this guy. I thought he was super cool. He caught me smoking weed back there, came up and
slapped Macie.
Just hit me in the face. Like full blown, said, "Are you smoking weed?" Reared back and hit me as hard as he could in my face, okay? And I was so stunned. I literally looked at him, turned on a dime, and took off running. And I was like, "Where's Riley? Where's Riley?" I was like, "Riley." She's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I was like, I don't want to say his name. He might be listening. I said, "He hit me in the face." And Riley, I just saw like all of the human life and empathy leave her eyes. And she was like a robot just scanning around for this kid. He
hid under his bed.
He knew she was coming and he hid under a bed in there. And Riley dragged him out from under his bed and punched him in the face so hard that he was like spaced out.
Yeah, and
like,
he was stunned. He was stunned.
It was
after
so
it.
bad. And Riley and I marched into the kitchen, took all of the pizza that they had just ordered to their house party, and got an Uber home, and with a black eye, eating the pizza on the way home back to our hotel.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, so don't.
Yeah, smoke weed around your homies, or you know what? Always smoke weed.
Always smoke weed. Never worry about the outcome because you know what? Life's about living.
Life's about living. And that's our additional story.
And kiss my ass.
Yeah, we'll cut that.